All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking an incredibly smart 3-day English language arts mini mission that is literally tailor-made for 8th graders. It's called the proposal, and the main objective here is something that's absolutely vital for students growing up in today's digital age. We're talking about helping them separate a slick, super loud pitch from actual solid evidence. We're going to deconstruct exactly how this resource empowers your students to look way past the hype and zero in on the cold, hard facts. So I want you to think about the learners in your own classroom for a second. Can your students spot bad evidence? Seriously, are they easily swayed by those super confident tones that are expertly masking incredibly weak arguments? Honestly, we see it happen all the time, right? A statement sounds bold and authoritative, and boom, suddenly it's accepted as unquestionable truth. Well, this establishes the exact core problem that this lesson is built to solve. It directly challenges students to stop taking a confident tone as actual proof. Okay, to give you a taste of what your students are up against here, listen to this quote pulled straight from the lesson's mock proposal. The students are told, famous author Jay Vance tweeted, "The future is 100% digital." I mean, this is just a fantastic example of the kind of ridiculous persuasion tricks they'll be analyzing. Sure, it sounds super modern and exciting, but as we all know, an author's tweet is absolutely not a factual basis for completely overhauling an entire school's library system. Let's break down how this mission actually unfolds in the classroom. Day 1, spotting persuasion tricks. The scenario is set up perfectly for them. The students receive this pitch from the student council demanding the removal of all print library books, and the proposal hits them with 4 distinct reasons to back up its central claim. Reason 1, ebooks cost less than print. Reason 2, that celebrity tweet we just laughed about. Reason 3, 90% of students own a phone. And reason 4, every modern school is going all digital, so hey, we can't be left behind. The students have to sift through all this noise to find the actual central claim and figure out what they're really looking at. So the crucial point here is that your students must actively label each one of those 4 reasons. They have to decide, is this reason actually backed by evidence, or is it just a cheap persuasion trick? They'll quickly realize that only the first point, the claim about cost, is an evidence-based claim that can actually be checked against real data. The others, they're just classic persuasion tricks. A celebrity appeal or the bandwagon effect of saying, but everyone else is doing it. And this perfectly illustrates the built-out support for teachers running this mission. You are totally not left on your own to guide the discussion. The provided answer key for day 1 shows you exactly how the central claim and all the reasons break down. It explicitly identifies the celebrity appeal, the bandwagon trick, and it clearly highlights that only the cost claim is worth testing with real numbers when tomorrow rolls around. Which brings us right into day 2, testing the evidence. So, the proposal leans heavily on one specific, massive number: 90%. They confidently claim that 90% of the student body owns a phone, and they use this as foolproof justification that an all-digital library will be perfectly accessible to everyone. On the surface, it's a very convincing statistic that might make a casual reader just nod along and agree. But here comes the plot twist for the students. The board pulls the actual data, and the students have to compare 2 very different numbers. Yes, 90% on a phone, but, and this is a big but, owning a phone does not mean a student has a reliable device and internet access to actually read ebooks for homework. When you look at that specific, relevant metric, the number drops dramatically to just 55%. Suddenly, the proposal's whole accessibility argument completely falls apart. Next up, the students test the financial claim. The proposal states that going digital is cheaper. And look, at first glance, the first-year digital cost is $6,500 compared to an $8,000 print budget. Looks like a clear win for digital, right? But wait, the students are given a crucial piece of context. Ebook licenses must be renewed every single year. The print books, those are a one-time purchase. The students quickly realize that these sneaky recurring yearly license fees change the math completely. It proves that just looking at 1 year's number isn't sufficient evidence at all. Again, I have to point out how easy this is for you as the educator. You never have to guess if the students are reaching the correct takeaways. The provided key for day 2 clearly explains exactly why the cost claim isn't sufficient, because of those pesky renewals, and why the 90% statistic isn't even relevant to actual home reading access. It perfectly anchors the whole lesson in assessing relevance and sufficiency. All right, let's move to the culmination of all their hard work. Day 3, the rebuttal. The students get hit with a major curveball, a memo from the school librarian that completely contradicts the slick proposal.
The librarian brings actual hard circulation and access data to the table. They point out that print checkouts are actually up 10%, and that nearly half of all checkouts are by students who explicitly lack reliable home devices. Plus, they reiterate that the digital savings completely disappear after year one.
This right here brings us to the core philosophical lesson the students are meant to learn. When two sources conflict, you must weigh the relevant and sufficient evidence. It's not about who has the flashiest presentation or the loudest voice in the room. It's about the facts. Armed with this realization, the students are tasked with writing a concise 3 to 4 sentence final recommendation to the school board.
And the Day 3 answer key guides teachers to look for strong recommendations that advise against the proposal based on the actual facts they've uncovered. The key outlines that the best student responses will use the real home access data and the recurring cost realities to completely shut down the slick pitch. It's just a brilliant way to ensure students are synthesizing everything they've learned over the 3 days.
Now, let's look at the tools for every learner.
What makes this $19 mini mission so incredibly impressive is how straightforward it makes differentiation. The lesson provides standard student pages, for sure, but it also brilliantly includes scaffolded versions for learners who might need a bit more support. These scaffolded pages provide really helpful evidence sorting charts and sentence frames, like reason blank is persuasion because it uses blank. This ensures that absolutely all learners, regardless of their current reading level, can actively participate in the critical judging process. And hey, evaluating the student's work is just as streamlined. The included 3-2-1 grading rubric ensures the teachers are grading students specifically on their evaluation of the evidence and the reasoning. You're grading them on whether they can trace the argument, spot the tricks, judge sufficiency, and resolve conflicts. You are absolutely not grading them on which side of the proposal they actually chose, which keeps the focus entirely on their critical thinking skills. Now, for educators keeping track of requirements, this engaging 3-day group format seamlessly hits major Grade 8 Common Core ELA standards. It heavily targets reading informational text by having them evaluate arguments and analyze conflicting information, while also naturally integrating argument writing and speaking and listening skills through all their group work. It's the whole shebang. So, the ultimate question is, are you ready to help your students choose patience and critical thought over a slick, exciting pitch? This explainer has shown how the proposal mini-mission gives you a structured, highly engaging way to prove to your 8th graders that relevant, sufficient evidence always beats a loud voice. It's an absolutely crucial skill for the modern world, perfectly packaged for your classroom. After all, if our 8th graders can't learn to separate the truth from a slick sales pitch today, whose pitches will they be falling for tomorrow?